What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Andrew, and this week we are at our feeding station. Some of our old viewers might recognize it, but we will be going upstairs to get Rex, and we will be showing you the difference between feeding live mice and frozen mice, and a little bit about the problems associated with feeding live mice to your reptiles. So you're watching Andrew's Reptile Ark. Stick around. So for our newer viewers, this is Rex, our adult male Chinese water dragon. And he looks a bit skinny right now because it is feeding day, and he hasn't eaten for a few days. He's just gonna chill right here on my shoulder for a little while, I guess. But the first thing we'll be feeding is our live mouse, which is right over here. I'll get it quickly. Now, live feeders are always a subject of controversy in the reptile community. Now, they are cute. People don't like to see them die. At the end of the day, these are living animals. They need to eat meat. This is what they normally eat for food. So we kind of have to steer away from that argument for a little while. It's not the best. I don't really like doing it, but so we're trying to mimic exactly what they feed on in the wild. Now, Chinese water dragons don't actually eat mammals that much in the wild, but they do prey upon them occasionally. This is a hopper mouse, or a few-week-old mouse to a month-old, I'm assuming. I'm not a big mouse expert, so I can't really tell you exactly how old it is. These mice are really bred for feeders for reptiles. It's not like they go out and catch them for food, so you're not really taking them away from the wild. As you can see, he's pretty calm right now. But we're gonna just throw him in here. I'll get you guys a shot of it in there. I know some people like to see this, so in the comments, don't, get mad at me. This is what they do like eating. Unfortunately, water dragons are reptiles that do require their food to move before they recognize them as food. So this is the best option for a lizard, and you can move them onto a frozen feeder later. Now, like I said, some people don't like watching these videos, so if you're squeamish or don't want to see an animal get eaten, please skip ahead to the frozen section or the frozen feeder that we'll be feeding him. But to those that actually want to see this, this is hopefully going to be a good video. Now, I'll try and put him as close as I can to the camera so you guys can see. Now, as you can see, the shaking of the head is designed to either break the neck of the mouse or to dislodge it, a little bit so it doesn't, bite them in any way. Now, this brings us to our first topic of discussion, is the bigger the animal you have, the bigger the rodent that you're feeding. Now, you can get rats, you can get large mice, but do remember that these animals are alive. They're going to fight to stay alive. They don't want to be eaten, so they will fight back. Now, rats, of course, he can't eat, but once you get to a size like Bowser, which is a large tegu, they can start eating rats, and these rats have teeth. They have the ability to bite back, so if you leave them in there, either the rat will get curious and start nibbling on them, or when they bite them, they'll bite them on the face. You don't want that. It's not pretty. You don't want a lizard that's injured from the animal that you're feeding it. But in this case, these mice don't really bite back. They are safe to put in with your water dragons. They're harder to keep because you have to go out to the pet store, buy them, and feed them within 24 hours, or you have to, I guess, release them, throw them away. I don't really know. I wouldn't recommend releasing them. But they're not good after that time. They do poop a lot, so you can't keep them with the animal that much. On the other hand, frozen can keep for a while. You can always freeze them. Last a long time. Like I said, don't bite back. Just as healthy for your lizard, but they don't move that much. Now I'll show you a trick on how to do this, how I did it with him, and how I did it with the other 2 water dragons that eat frozen mice as well. Like I said before, these animals are animals that recognize food as a moving target. So we will be kind of making it artificial or seeming like the animal is still alive for them. Now, for those that aren't that squeamish, this is a pre-killed rodent. They were designed to be fed to these animals. So I'll show you how I really did it. The first stage is to get them used to having tongs, which I'm sure a lot of reptiles are by now. But what you need to do is kind of shake it, make it seem like it's alive. Rex does really like mice, so this hopefully will be a good video to show you. He might just run at it. Now, if we just go like this, he thinks it's alive, and he grabs it. Easy as that. He doesn't really know it's not alive, and your animal still gets fed. Reptile bites it, they might keep it in their mouth like Rex is right here. It's not showing you that he doesn't like it, but he's just trying to figure out how he wants to position it in a way that it can go down his throat easier. So you just want to let him do this. He can figure it out by himself. You don't really have to worry. Now, males can eat prey that's larger than females because there's head size difference. So you do always want to feed your animal with the proper size food. You don't want to give them something too big or else they could choke or even die off of this. Now, while Rex is eating his mouse, we can go over the pros of feeding frozen mice. They, again, don't bite back. They're just as healthy. Can be kept for long periods of time. There's no disadvantage to feed. See how he maneuvered the mouse so it can fit in his mouth better? That's exactly what he was waiting for. He positions in a way that it can go down his throat. You don't have to worry about it. Sometimes they can take 5 minutes swallowing it. You just have to wait, let them figure it out. But frozen mouse or frozen mice are definitely easier to feed. I know some snakes don't like feeding frozen. There is ways of getting them to think it's alive, like I just showed you. Some flat out refuse, so you really don't have the option then. But with feeding lizards, I know that these tricks really work. They have worked before. I've worked with the 3 water dragons that I have, so you guys can use those tricks. Now, he's still working it down. It was a big meal. We did feed him 2 mice, which isn't that big of a meal for him. I normally feed him these 2 hoppers, obviously frozen, not live, so it might be a little different for him. The mouse was definitely dead on the way down. Sorry, but it was. They don't swallow them live because it would scratch around their stomach and that would be awful for them. Could you imagine? That would be, live in your stomach? But anyway, don't want to think about that. You can just see the tail popping out right now and a little bit of the leg. But he's just working on that, so we'll let him do that. So you can really see the difference between the frozen and the live. There's a lot of negative things that go along with feeding, or not really negative, but things that could go wrong if you feed live. Why bother? It's more of a pain. Feed frozen. Easier to care for. I could put you guys on a time lapse until he finishes this. So that's it. That's the end of the video. He did end up by finishing it, which is always good. Let me know in the comments if you guys feed live, frozen. If you guys want to ask any questions, go ahead and ask them in the comments. I'll be sure to answer as many as I can. But thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below, of course, and check out our other channels, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. And I will see you guys in the next video. See ya.